is going on, guys? How y'all doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here live to discuss some recent activity going on with NXT UK. As of course, this is the first time I have reviewed any of NXT UK since the spring, because of course NXT UK was shut down during the when the pandemic first began. This, of course, was the only brand of wrestling that I do check out that actually took a break during the whole pandemic. They went home. They detached themselves, and they took care of themselves first out in the UK. So we're as I've been doing, of course, since I have returned back to YouTube back in March, or February, whenever it was I got my channel back. Again, as I said, I'm doing these UK reviews, here and there. I'm going to, I don't watch it religiously, weekly, like I do with everything else that I watch and review on this channel, as I always say. I just, pull off the network, watch a batch of episodes on occasion, and I'm trying to do it basically, do it monthly. But of course, my schedule was kind of crazy, and when it first came back in the middle of September, I was hoping to have had, the last one done after the match with Walter and Dragunov, which we will talk about that in this review as well. That's where I was hoping to have everything updated, but unfortunately, that did not happen. So we're gonna do it, of course, here. Of course, again, just talk about what's going on with the UK, such as in the title pictures, any other storylines going on that's really noteworthy that I've noticed, and we will, of course, go from there. So as always, guys, please make sure to participate in the live chat, and we will just see what we got tonight. And of course, after this is done, I will also I have 3 other videos that I will be uploading for sure, wrestling content-wise. 2 turn alerts, and also my thoughts on the release of Zelina Vega, which I will get those up as well. And then I am trying, no promises, trying to get a Harry Potter Let's Play video uploaded tonight as well. It's been a few weeks since I've done any of those. Yeah, we all know that story. Anyway, so first, let's check the live chat, see what we've got here. We've got JR and Tyler in the house. JR says, is Chelsea Green going to get put through the announce table 8 times on SmackDown now that since her husband left and went to AW? We've not seen her on whatever for a while. Hope they don't do that to Chelsea Green. Hope not, but of course Chelsea Green is out of action for who knows how long now, because she apparently broke her wrist during her debut match on SmackDown on Friday, unfortunately. So we'll be seeing that hopefully happen. But of course, how many times we're going to be seeing Lana be put through a table, I have no idea. What's up, Tyler? As usual, Ladies of Survivor Series, and why is Lana still here? Always reminded consistently by Tyler. Thank you guys, though, for your stuff in the live chat. So, again, let's talk about the UK. And, of course, again, there's going to be no grade. So, after, of course, the NXT UK brand, went on hiatus during the pandemic. They were gone for, 6 months, I think it was. Yeah, 6 months, I think, because my half birthday's in March, and they came back in September. So, yeah. So, they were gone for 6 months. And during those times, they were gone in, I think, April 30th. Well, they stopped filming in March. Well, not April 30th, I think, was the last. Yeah, April 30th. Because this is from May 7th till November 12th. So they were just having some, I never watched any of them, just little specials, some of the best matches, some of the best from this superstar or that superstar and such, all that jazz. And then I believe it was announced at NXT TakeOver 30 that NXT UK was returning in September. And then the first episode of the UK aired on September 17th. So that's when they came back. And as far as, most of the title pictures, really not much going on with the tag titles. The tag title picture right now, there really isn't any number 1 contenders. On the returning episode, they had, at the time, because also keep in mind, too, these were the first set of tapings since the whole speaking out thing happened a few months ago, and a good portion of them were UK wrestlers. Some of them who were mentioned in there that were, I'm not sure if they were innocent or not, were not on these tapings. Tyler Bate was not there, which I hope Tyler Bate is innocent, which I believe he is, but I'm not sure. Tyler Bate I haven't seen yet back. Joe Coffey was also one person. I think he was suspended, but he was brought back recently. Because he was on in a 6-man, I believe, this past week's episode, a week before, I can't remember. Jordan Devlin, the Cruiserweight Champion, which we'll talk about that situation briefly also when we get there as well, was also one of them. The two they definitely got rid of, though, were Travis Banks and Ligero. Those two are gone. So a couple of those people were gone as well. But Gallus, for the first couple weeks, we had just seen, first couple episodes were Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, the currently NXT UK Tag Team Champions. And they had a match against, on the 17th, against Amir Jordan and Kenny Williams, the tag team of them. I believe it was that match afterwards where we had a bunch of other, tag teams and tag teams basically be reintroduced. The only one that was not there was Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner of Imperium. They showed them on the screen. Which, by the way, I forgot to mention also, these tapings have been taking place at the BT Sports Studio, I believe it was, in London, England. I like the setup for it, but there's no fans inside. There's no virtual fans or anything like that. There's none of that. So it kind of really lacks it, which I do miss the UK crowd because, again, they always had very good and creative cheers. For sure. I would have loved to have heard they would have been insane during that match with Walter and Dragunov that I did live reactions for. Make sure to check those out if you haven't done so already. But definitely not the same there. But yeah, they kind of just showed off which tag teams are there, and they really have not done much of the tag team division since coming back for the past month and a half. So that's that's fine. The only tag team that hasn't been seen, I'm surprised, is the Grizzled Young Veterans, Zach Gibson and James Drake. I'm not sure what's going on with them. Before the pandemic, they were actually being booked in NXT a little bit. So I'm not sure if they're ever going to bring them back in NXT or what. But I'm surprised they haven't showed up in the UK yet. Since coming back, since the brand came back. And the only other match they really had involving Gallus was a 6-man, which was when Joe Coffey had his first appearance since returning. And they took on the team of Sam Gradwell and Pretty Deadly as well, who's been getting a lot more TV time since the brand came back. Is Pretty Deadly as a tag team. We'll talk about them shortly. We also have Jordan Devlin, who's only had one match since the UK brand came back, which was, I believe, this past episode this week, November 12th. He took on some no-name, but they have aired vignettes where he's angry because, while he was gone, they crowned an interim Cruiserweight champion in the United States. It was being called interim until, at one point, they even showed you, they stopped referring to the Cruiserweight champion as interim Cruiserweight champion, which is currently Santos Escobar. But realistically, now that the UK, I'm not sure if it had anything to do with the allegations, since Jordan Devlin was one person mentioned in the Speaking Out movement, but I believe he's innocent if they would have had him back on TV. The fact that they don't have Tyler Bate though on TV is starting to concern me a little bit, because I really liked Tyler Bate. But the fact that the UK has been back for about a month and a half already, and Jordan Devlin has just had a jobber match since coming back, makes me a little concerned. Because, why would he come back and then immediately go after, the interim Cruiserweight champion? Is it because they don't want to have another heel-on-heel feud with Devlin and Escobar? Which is why I thought they were, when the NXT UK was getting close to coming back, which is why I thought they were going to put the title on Isaiah Swerve Scott. And I still think they should have put the title on Isaiah Swerve Scott then. Now, again, who are they going to give it to? That Adonis, whatever the heck his name is? I don't even want to bother, because, again, I just don't care about the Cruiserweight division. I don't. I like Santos Escobar. I like Isaiah Swerve Scott. But who else is in it? Jake Atlas is pretty cool. I'll give him that. But, again, who else is in it? No one. But, yeah, so that's a little bit of a downer there. It's like they haven't done anything with Jordan Devlin being cruiserweight champion since brought back for just a brief match. It's like he should be again going over to the United States and getting back to just one cruiserweight champion. So we're both at half in. I had to decide that was a little bit of a head scratcher there. So there was that. For the women's division, obviously Kaylee Ray is still the NXT UK Women's Champion, and of course before the pandemic, I was starting to dig her a little bit more. I just don't think her manipulative, mind games she plays are good, but I expect better. I don't know. It's like, I just feel like I've seen better still with the mind games that Kaylee Ray can play. Just the cocky attitude she has. It's like her character still feels a little bit too simple. Like, spice her up a little bit more, as I keep saying. But I still don't think she should have been NXT UK Women's Champion as long as she was. Again, I still think Toni Storm should have had a longer reign. Like, if anyone should have had like a year-long reign, it's definitely Toni Storm. Because Kaylee Ray's now been champion for 14 months now? 14, 15 months? Because she won the title at TakeOver Cardiff back in August of 2019. That's when she won the championship. So I just still don't think Kaylee Ray should have been outdoing Toni Storm. I really didn't think she should have, no offense. So basically, we've had some women's matches. Iofi Valkyrie, I still think is definitely a contender to take the title off for, that could be changing. We've still seen like Danny Luna, Xia Brookside, Nina Samuels, Isla Dawn have occasional matches, but there's nothing really going on, especially with their characters. The only ones that are definitely, I think, serious contenders in the women's division right now for Kaylee Ray's UK Championship, besides maybe Valkyrie, if they're still holding back on her for a little bit, is Ginny and Piper Niven. Ginny, I know, had a match. Of course, now that Jazzy Gabbard's definitely no longer in the UK, she's been gone for months. I think Ginny had a match against, I can't remember who it was, but she basically said there's going to be a whole different side. I mean, I really haven't seen much different from her, but I still feel like, she's still like one of the strongest contenders right now to be contending for that UK Women's Championship. Of course, they picked up where they left off with having the continued feud with Kaylee Ray and Piper Niven. Piper, though, lost in the UK Women's title match they had back on September 24th. They had a match. That was the first title match that Gallus had the first championship match when they faced Jordan and Williams on the returning episode. The following week we had the match with Kaylee Ray and Piper Niven, and it was an okay match. I don't know, it just felt a little bit off when I saw it. There was a part in the match where now that based off the vignette they had this past week, because there's going to be another match between Ray and Niven for the Women's Championship next week's episode, which I believe is next week, in a Falls Count Anywhere match, where I'm pretty sure Piper's probably going to win the championship there. I'm a little more positive that's going to happen. If it does not happen, I'm going to be shocked. Well, if it's not Piper Niven, it's probably going to be Valkyrie. If Niven wins it, I think they're going to put it on Ginny, and then Ginny's going to drop it to Valkyrie. That's the long-term plan I see. Maybe, who knows? The story they're trying to play off from that match is during the match, Kaylee Ray suffered a knee injury when she ran her knee into the steel steps, and she sold it pretty good. Piper Niven, though, I guess backed off and showed a little bit of like a soft spot. Whenever they're going to call off the match because of the kayfabe knee injury that Kaylee Ray had suffered, and Kaylee sold it pretty good. But then she basically goaded her into continuing the match, basically, as Kaylee Ray tried to play the mind games with her. And then Piper Niven lost after some awkward turnbuckle bump. It just looked, I don't know, something seemed a little bit off about it. But I get the story they're trying to play on right now. And then she had that State of the Union address where, like, basically everybody started to brawl, basically, for the most part. and then again, I guess basically, Piper Niven, is basically told that she has that soft spot and not that killer instinct and whatnot. And she took all that anger out whenever Kaylee Ray came out to basically start picking on her and Jenny. When Jenny was in the ring, basically saying she's going to pass up Piper again for another opportunity. But then Piper grabbed the chair and started beating the crap out of Jenny, and even out of the whoever the jobber was that Jenny faced in the match that night. And then I guess she went to chase Kaylee Ray backstage, and Kaylee fell over, and basically they're about to tear each other apart, which is setting up for that Falls Count Anywhere match. So I get it, but I was kind of like, why didn't Piper have a match to earn that opportunity? You know what I mean? Since she'd already lost, even though they're trying to put up a story like, okay, Kaylee Ray's trying to expose that that more vicious killer instinct side of Piper Niven, and she's shown it. But again, why did Piper have to get another qualifying match if she won in a qualifying match, since she'd already lost the opportunity she had gotten? You know what I mean? It was strange, but whatever. I think we're going to probably see Piper win the championship this week. And if it's not Piper when taking the title off of Kaylee, it's going to be Valkyrie. But either way, again, if Piper wins it again, I think it'll be Piper, then Jenny, then Valkyrie. I think that's going to be what it's going to be for the women's title picture. So that's the women's division pretty much for that. We had Rampage Brown make his debut against the lovable jobber Jack Stars in NXT UK. Could be being booked as the next UK champion, maybe. Of course, I thought there was somebody else going to be winning the UK title off of Walter. We'll get to that match shortly. It didn't happen. There's also a storyline going on with who attacked the South Wales subculture. As before the pandemic, Mark Andrews was found backstage. Obviously, he'd been attacked. And then after one of his matches, which we'll talk about the tournament coming up as well, Flash Morgan Webster apparently was found attacked as well. So around the time before the pandemic happened, I was suspicious that it may be Flash Morgan Webster attacking Mark Andrews. Kind of like the same thing way how they broke up Enzo and Cass. I thought maybe they were going to pull the trigger and turn Flash Morgan Webster heel. Of course, now I'm still confused, though, based off of, what was revealed on the October 29th edition. But so they've been having, of course, Eddie Dennis, who, again, I continue to put over him when I talk about him. I am very intrigued by Eddie Dennis's character. And I still think it's because, they've emphasized that he has been a longtime friend of Pete Dunne, Mark Andrews, Trent Seven, basically the founding fathers of the NXT UK brand. So I think that's why I've always been very invested in Eddie Dennis, but he's had some injuries that have held him back from, exceeding forward and whatnot. So obviously he's apparently been played some games with the South Wales subculture, but it still has not been revealed for sure if it was Eddie Dennis who's attacking him or the team that turned heel, because it looked like, again, and they've been having these segments where Eddie Dennis has discussed some things with Pretty Deadly, but they're just not revealing what's being talked about between them. So I thought at first Pretty Deadly was basically being Eddie Dennis' sidekicks, but instead it turns out to be The Hunt, who were also friends of the South Wales subcultures, Andrews and Webster. They had turned heel back on the October 29th edition, but there's still really not been a clear explanation as to why The Hunt have sided with Eddie Dennis. Besides the fact that the promo that Eddie cut basically with them basically signifies that he's got animals by his side now. So it's like, why are they with him if you're teasing Pretty Deadly to be your duo? So I'm not sure where that's going, and I'm not sure if we've still found the answer yet to who's attacking the South Wales subculture. Again, it could be them attacking each other, who knows. And basically play up how it was whenever they had split up Enzo and Cass in 2017. But we'll see where that goes. But again, I'm just hoping it starts to lead Eddie Dennis also into a serious direction too. Because again, I've always been a fan of Eddie Dennis since the UK brand started up. So we'll see where that goes. Before we get on to the last two bigger topics, though, of this stream, let's check the live chat really quick here and see what we got here. Do you think that the Blacks going to get put through the announce table now every week when he returns? Who knows? I don't know what they're going to do to punish people more. I still think, well, watch my... I will be uploading a video talking about the Zelina Vega release, so definitely get my thoughts there. Yeah, Lana's going to another table for whoever knows how long. You should have released Lana from WWE instead of Zelina Vega. Do you think I was... I think Black leaving again, like keep for Zelina Vega video. I think the NXT UK has been a lot better than Raw and SmackDown in recent months. That's a fact. And the thing was, again, keep in mind this again. As I've mentioned how many times, I don't want to mention this every time I talk about the UK again. NXT UK again is a back burner show. Not many people watch it because again, there's how much other content going on. They don't have time to check this out. But again, I'm intrigued by the UK. Again, fresh, a lot of directionless people, of course. But it's still fresh. Again, this is what the WWE needed to do. Literally take some time off. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Comes back. It feels fresh. And that's what the UK has felt like. That's this like brand that, took a break from for a while. Missed absolutely nothing. Brand brought back fresh content. And it's not been too bad. I do agree. Again, NXT UK is not a horrible show. I definitely recommend checking out, but again, I just don't have the time to watch it religiously. I'm intrigued by it, but I still watch it, whenever I'm able to. Not like every single week. But I still continue to agree with that for sure. Tombstone the Rabbit? That rabbit? Oh, jeez. Can I tell you a story, Mike? Oh boy, Tyler's about to write his own story. Can I tell you a story, Mike? Once upon a time, there was a little boy named AJ Styles. And AJ Styles needs no bodyguards to go win the Royal Rumble match and take the WWE Championship WrestleMania from Randy Orton. Possibly. Have Roman and Batista have a one-on-one match. Batista, no thanks. No thanks on Batista. No thanks on that one. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry about that one. I think it's going to be Roman and Keith or Roman and Big E at WrestleMania. That's my picks. Or they say Roman and Daniel Bryan. But they're probably doing Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan at TLC. Who knows? But we'll see. We'll see where to go with that next. But thank you guys as always for your stuff in the live chat. Let's talk about the last two things I want to talk about in this stream. And of course, the NXT UK title picture. So, on the last episode of NXT UK before their hiatus, they had a 20-man battle royale in which Ilya Dragunov won the number one contendership for the NXT UK Championship. Which I was definitely thinking this is going to be where they pull the trigger, and I think this is where they're going to put the title on Ilya Dragunov. Now, I will say this. I will say that even though I know how high Triple H is on Ilya Dragunov, and I did think that Dragunov was going to be the one to dethrone Walter, I still thought something was missing. Because even when he had that match with Finn Balor back at Worlds Collide, I'm like, oh, Ilya Dragunov seems awesome. But I still feel like they had to have him come a little more out of his shell. Since returning back to UK, that they've started back up again, I do like how what's helped build up more the character of Ilya Dragunov is showing his emotional side a little bit more. Like the emotions, the energy he can bring to a crowd and whatnot. Even though there is no crowd. But there's the energy he has gets me intrigued. His spirit has been exposed more. And I think besides, the hard-hitting, battle that him and Walter had in that classic of a UK title match, his emotions, state being, expressed in the match as well, I think has also helped make that UK title match pretty darn awesome. And they built him up pretty good as they brought him back. The first UK show, the main event was him and Noam Dar, and it was pretty good. So, of course, they also had him one opportunity, which they gave it to him on the October 29th edition of NXT UK, and even a big shocker on the which was a good cliffhanger for sure. Well, a good way to catch more attention for that main event. On the October 15th episode, they had Dragunov team up with Pete Dunne, who had briefly returned to the UK, basically to help pick well, I'll get to that, but he was there to help set up another tournament. But he stayed and had a tag match teamed up with Dragunov, and they took on the team of Alexander Wolf and Walter of Imperium. And they won, and it was Ilya Dragunov who pinned Walter. And that was the first time, besides, of course, that forgettable appearance he had at Survivor Series last year, that was the first time Walter had been pinned in general. Again, besides, the Survivor Series, the way he was booked at Survivor Series, besides that was the first time in NXT UK that Walter had been pinned. And that was definitely a good attention grabber to Ilya Dragunov to help build him up for sure. And then the match they had again on October 29th, classic. Just absolute classic. You have the big man Walter, who has some of the scariest, hard-hitting chops. Just beat the hell out of Dragunov. And Dragunov sold his butt off. And even, the red chest, he was, cut up a little bit around his mouth and whatnot. Even Walter had the fight brought to them. Those two guys made each other look like monsters. Some great near falls, some great kickouts. Like Dragunov himself, as Walter had worked again, there was a spot, I believe. Yeah, I remember from the match. There was a suplex that that Walter hit on Dragunov that obviously affected the neck of Dragunov. And Walter literally targeted that neck for, I'd say, a good 75-80% of that match, while even, chopping at him and making his chest so red, Dragunov still hung in there. And even when they had him take a power bomb. I remember one of my favorite kickouts, like a kick-out that just basically, I thought Walter had him there, but it didn't even, that couldn't put him away. Walter, I think, had power bombed. I think he had knocked Dragunov into the steel steps, power bombed him on the apron, power bombed him in the ring, did a splash on him, the same move that Walter had hit on Pete Dunne at NXT TakeOver New York to win the UK Championship. That still wasn't enough to put away Ilya Dragunov. That was one of those kickouts where it's like, you got me. You really got me there. I was shocked. Like, you saw me in my live reactions. I was shocked that Dragunov kicked out of that. And it took a good referee stoppage, match stoppage, where I'm not going to make fun of them for, because they did that at Hell in a Cell 2019 with Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt. But in Walter and Dragunov, that match ended in referee stoppage whenever Walter made Dragunov pass out. The look on the face of Dragunov, the bloodied up mouth and everything, I was just like, holy heck. If that is a way to make someone look like a huge star in Ilya Dragunov, I don't know what a better way is. Even again, Dragunov, who had pinned Walter in a tag match, looked amazing in this match. He looked like, again, they put him on a whole other level in this match, for sure. And just to have him kick out the near falls while working with a neck. Now, obviously, kayfabe-wise, was affected by one of the suplexes that he sold beautifully. He even was suplexing Walter around, and Walter's so much more bigger than him as well. It was just an awesome, classic match of the year candidate. Needless I say, one of the best matches for the UK brand. I don't know. It's still, to me, between this match or Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne at NXT TakeOver Chicago 2. It's one of those two matches I still say is the best match the UK has put on. It was that darn good. Just an absolute classic. Now, of course, since Dragunov did not win, I'm not sure who would be next to challenge Walter for the UK title. Now, I am hearing, though, that I think NXT UK Dublin has been moved to, I think not till next April, I can't remember when it was, but it's not till 2021. I remember months ago there was rumors of it being delayed till October 26th, but that's past, so that ain't happening. So I don't know who's going to be challenging Walter. I mean, I wonder if maybe Rampage Brown may be a candidate to dethrone Walter, but I still think at TakeOver Dublin we're going to get Walter and Finn Balor. Whether Finn Balor is still NXT champion or not, and of course also depending on how his jaw is, he's going to be on NXT this week to address the situation of the NXT championship. Who knows? But yeah, that's been some very good hard hitting action for sure with the UK title picture as well. But definitely a good way to give Walter a good return. And also, again, just make Dragunov look like $1 million. Like, if you thought something was missing before, it ain't missing now. It ain't missing now. Ilya Dragunov is a star. But still a great match of the year candidate. And then finally, the last thing I want to talk about from the UK is this Heritage Cup tournament they're doing. It's not a bad idea. What I like about this is again, well, I'll talk about the matches, the style of the match shortly, but obviously this is a match, this is kind of like a little bit like a small replacement for the UK tournament they used to have before they started up NXT UK, when they had just a United Kingdom Championship tournament. They had such one that Tyler Bate won, Zach Gibson won the second one and went on to unsuccessfully defeat Pete Dunne. And then the brand itself started off, and we've had a couple NXT UK takeovers, which again, the next one, Dublin's probably not going to be until 2021. We'll have to wait and see. But this Heritage Cup, it's not a bad idea for a tournament. And what I like about it is the style of the match. They're British rounds matches. Now, the only British rounds match I ever remembered seeing was the one between Cassius Ohno and Sid Scala ages ago. I wasn't a big fan of it. And I think it was because Sid Scala was in it. Like, if they were trying to introduce this concept to someone who has never really heard of a British rounds match, why did they have Sid Scala involved? Like, why wasn't it Cassius Ohno and Tyler Bate, or Cassius Ohno and Trent Seven, or even Cassius Ohno and Ilya Dragunov? I don't know. Why did it have to be Cassius Ohno and Sid Scala? But the matches consists of 6 3-minute rounds. Basically, it's kind of being treated a little bit like a boxing match. Except, of course, it's still regular wrestling. And basically, it's 2 out of 3 falls. The first person to 2 falls, or, the most falls after 6 rounds, wins. And Pete Dunne had actually returned to make the matches. There was one, mystery, spot that they had one qualifying match for, which was between Kenny Williams, Ashton Smith, and Kenny Williams' tag team partner, Amir Jordan. And it was a pretty good triple threat match I remember seeing too. And Kenny Williams won that, so he was the 8th member of the Heritage Cup tournament. And so far, the results we've had was the first round, which again Pete Dunne drew for the matches, and then I think he was also a special guest referee. I think during the Noam Dar and Alexander Wolf match. Can't remember for sure, or was it during the match with Dragunov and Dar? I can't remember when it was. Noam Dar in the first round defeated Alexander Wolf 2-1. And then A-Kid defeated Flash Morgan Webster 2-1. Dave Mastiff defeated Joseph Connors 1-0. And then Trent Seven defeated Kenny Williams 2-1. And the semifinals matches we've had so far, we haven't had the finals yet, but the semifinals matches we've had, A-Kid defeated Noam Dar 2-1. And then Trent Seven defeated Dave Mastiff this past week 2-1 as well. This is obviously, I feel like, a good way to build up A-Kid, since he's like the freshest name in this tournament, especially against one of the founding fathers like Trent Seven. And I'll say it's been interesting. Again, and having the British rounds matches do make it different. And it makes me a little more intrigued by them. Because like I said before, when they were doing them for, when they did them again for the match between Cassius Ohno and Sid Scala, I didn't dig it. I wasn't a big fan of it. Because again, it was just Cassius Ohno wrestling a corporate member. It's like, why? But now they've had it in this tournament, intriguing. And yeah, I'm going to predict it. I think A-Kid's going to win this and probably give him maybe a title opportunity down the line at some point. Not sure, but it'd be a good way to help build up A-Kid. He's a newer star in this tournament as well. And yeah, with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for this recap of what's been going on with NXT UK. Maybe try again by the end of the month, or maybe I'll wait till the end of the year, since we're already about halfway through November anyways. So we'll just wait and see. Again, there's no UK takeover cut up anytime soon. Again, I think it's not going to be until April, I think I'm hearing now, for NXT UK takeover Dublin. I still have card predictions that I may update, may not. I'm not too sure. Probably will, because of course one of the matches I predicted was Jordan Devlin versus Travis Banks, and Travis Banks went bye-bye because of, what he had done in the allegations with Mackenzie Mitchell, but we're not going to go there. So yeah, interesting stuff going on with the UK brand. Could probably maybe make things a little more interesting in the tag title division, I'd say. But again, I'm interested to see what goes on with Eddie Dennis and The Hunt, and Pretty Deadly. We'll see where things go, of course, with Kaylee Ray and Piper Niven in the Falls Count Anywhere match this week, and to see where it's going to happen. As far as I think the next bigger names to contend for that title are definitely Ginny and Aofi, Valkyrie, whatever her name is. And of course, see what Rampage Brown does as well, as he's getting started in NXT UK as well. And of course, who will be the next person to challenge for the UK title against Walter, since Ilya Dragunov was not able to do so. But still, a very successful match, and definitely a classic for sure, and a match of the year contender. So guys, that's going to do it now for my NXT UK live review. Again, stay tuned. Afterwards, I am uploading 2 turn alerts and my thoughts on the Zelina Vega release as well, so make sure to stay tuned for that as well. And 9:45 to 10, maybe I'll try to do one Harry Potter Let's Play video. Who knows? I'm not too sure. I'm already feeling kind of tired, so maybe not. I'm probably not, guys, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll hit my mind. So, guys, what are your thoughts on NXT UK recently and its return back in September? And also like the Heritage Cup and everything else going on. Do you think A-Kid's going to win a championship? What are your thoughts on the championship match between Walter and Ilya Dragunov? Whatever you guys have to talk about, make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe or comment to my channel. And follow me on Twitter at DemandAir93. Until then, guys, I'm checking out. Have a great rest of your night. I'll see you guys in my next video, whichever one that may be. Peace out, everybody.